Welcome to Shelton Talks. Today we are outside in the garden of Boston's Public Library. I'd like to talk to you about something that's often misunderstood: storytelling. Many people think storytelling is nostalgia, something sentimental, something we do when we're reminiscing. But I want to offer you a different truth today. Storytelling is leadership. And when communities fail to preserve their history, they don't just lose memory, they lose power. Leadership isn't just about positions and titles. Leadership is about direction, it's about identity, it's about continuity. And storytelling does all three. When leaders preserve stories, they help people understand who they are, where they come from, and why their presence matter. Every strong community, every enduring culture has leaders who remember enough to pass something on. That's not nostalgia, that's stewardship. When stories disappear, communities begin to weaken, not because people forget dates, but because they forget meaning. Without history, young people search for identity in unstable spaces. Communities repeat mistakes they could have learned from. Contributions go unrecognized and sacrifices are erased. And when people don't know their story, others will define it for them or erase it entirely. Silence is not neutral. Erasure is not accidental. Preserving stories is how communities retain voice and legacy. Story preservation does not belong to any one group, it belongs to our elders who carry lived wisdom, our educators who contextualize learning, our churches who hold spiritual memory, and our families who transmit identity daily. History is not only housed in archives or museums, it lives in conversation, traditions, testimonies, and lived experiences. When these groups work together, memory survives. When they don't, stories fade quietly and often permanently. We are living in a moment where elders are passing without their stories being recorded. Documents and photographs are deteriorating. Neighborhoods are changing rapidly, and digital spaces are moving faster than memory. This is not a future problem. This is a problem right now. Every year we wait, stories are lost that cannot be recovered. Preservation is not about urgency rooted in fear, it's about urgency rooted in responsibility. Here's something you may not realize: you don't need a PhD to preserve history, you don't need a grant, you don't need permission. You need intentionality. Legacy stewardship looks like asking questions, recording conversations, saving photographs, writing things down, honoring lived experiences. History is not only made by famous people, it is sustained by ordinary people who choose not to forget. When everyday people preserve stories, history becomes honest, inclusive, and whole. So here's the question I want to leave you with: what stories are you responsible for preserving? Not someday, not later, but right now. Because leadership doesn't always stand at a podium. Sometimes leadership sits at the table, listens carefully, and decides that a story is worth saving. At Shelton Talks, we believe this deeply. Knowing your history matters, your voice matters, and your legacy matters. Thank you for being part of this conversation, and thank you for choosing to remember.